Okay. Hi, I'm Chris Farley.
I'm John Farley.
You stepped on my line.
I'm sorry.
Can we take it again? No. John Farley.
I'm Kevin Farley. We had this neighbor, Helen Coe, 85-year-old little old lady. Nice. We called her Paddington Bear because she looked like Paddington Bear.
She had the overcoat.
Right, the little overcoat shuffled. And we would play basketball in the backyard, and it would get violent. I mean, if you beat Chris, he just did not like to lose at any game or anything. He hated losing. So if I won, I'd hit the shot or something like that. I'd run like 5 miles down the road because I knew he was coming after me and screaming. But if he missed a shot, it would be like the F word or, every swear word in the world. And you could see Mrs. Coe outside her house just going, what do they say?
Played Monopoly with him once, and he was pretty good at it. And it would always just come down to just me and him. And if I lost, instead of giving me Monopoly money, he was like, go make me a sandwich and I'll give you 2,000 Monopoly money. All right. So one time I made him a sandwich with like peanut butter and mustard and flipped the Monopoly table over and chased me around the house. Parts everywhere, and I was screaming for mom, mercy.
We were sleeping in a hotel, I remember this well too, and John had asthma, and so he and I shared a bed, and Chris got his own bed because nobody wanted it. He was too violent. But Johnny's going, like at night, and you hear Chris in the other bed going, shut up! Shut up!
And in the middle of the night when I was sleeping, I didn't even realize I said it, I go, shut the F up. And then he goes, I just heard, and then I woke up going, did I say something? And I heard a, what? What did you just say? And then I was like, oh God, no. And in the pitch black of night, an ashtray went hurling across the room and hit me right in the forehead. That's when I slept in the bathtub for the rest of the night.
We had this boat, this tiny little Boston whaler, and we were pulling Chris behind it on like an inner tube, and he's in it, and I'm going full speed, and along the lake there's all these houses where everybody's out. It was a summer day, and everybody's out on their front lawn, and he's laughing. I'm like, hey, he's having a good time. Look at him, he's laughing. And I did it for like a long time, back and forth, and I realized after I stopped, his pants had come off like a long time ago, and he was just laughing naked, just running around, and all our neighbors are like, is that the Farley boy nude behind that boat? We were sent to camp, just kicked out of the house because we could not be in the house. Otherwise, we'd break everything. So we had to get into sports. So it was either swimming. Every sport that you could play, we were always playing because, we just weren't allowed in the house. Yeah. And after school, we weren't allowed back into the house. So we better sign up for something like sports. And we weren't bright kids. So we had to do sports.
Right.
He was teaching a bunch of kids how to scuba dive at this camp, and all the kids were like, look at him. He's like,
There's always one counselor in the boat watching everybody, and the other counselor in the water with them. And they all came up, and the guy was like, where's Chris? He's sleeping down at the bottom. On all fours like this, dead asleep.
He actually, one of the things he did in college, which he absolutely loved, which is sort of strange, was ballet. He took a ballet class at Marquette, and he's like, yeah, and I think he took 2 of them or something like that, and he really liked it. And he used it a lot in his routines. I mean, you can always see him doing the plie kick and stuff like that because he liked this ballet class, and I think it taught him to be more limber and that kind of thing. Because he could lift his leg up pretty high, and do all those dance moves really well. In college, he sort of had the beginnings of what he wanted to do. I think he wanted to get out of college early, but Dad said, "No, just finish your career. Finish your school. You're almost done anyway." But you know, he got into trouble. I think he threw a smoke bomb in a house, and it caught on fire. A little incident that, you know, they were going to kick him out, but they let him back in, and he managed to finish school. But I mean, back then he really wanted to go out to Hollywood, or actually go down to Second City and start down there early. But he finished his thing at Marquette, and then went down and learned a lot from Second City and Del Close and that kind of thing.
He was in Second City. He already had sort of reputation. He was pretty young, but you could tell people were already talking about him when he was at Second City. And we went through Chicago, and there he was, and we were pretty solid in the cast.
Everyone was there. You got your Myers, Carvey, Dennis Miller, Rob Schneider, Adam Sandler, Chris Rock. You're in a place where there's some tough competition, and to have us all agree he's the funniest one, that's a tough thing to do with that gang.
So he was sort of the child that if Bill Murray and John Belushi had a child, or Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi had a child, it probably would have been Chris.
He had so many bits that he did. I just kept writing them in, from fat guy in a little coat to his own sayings, holy shnikes, which he coined growing up in Wisconsin because, you know, he wasn't allowed to cuss, around his parents at least, and so he found a way around it. Every bit of original comedy material I could just suck out of that, you know, ball of energy, I did and put it into the movie.
Oh, you know, Tommy Boy Story of Room Tone? We were trying to get room tone. Everybody was in there. Everybody was up in Toronto trying to get room tone. Everyone has to be quiet for, what, 60 seconds or whatever. And towards 55 seconds or so, Farley cuts a fart and goes, "Bo!" And there was like about 100 people in the room, and everyone just burst out laughing. Tried to blame it on Bo Derek. Poor Bo Derek.